Most of us think of gratitude as a feeling, something that arrives when good things happen, when the promotion comes through, when the health report is clear, when the relationship is going well, when life cooperates with what we had in mind. But what if gratitude is not a feeling at all? What if it is a practice, a discipline, a way of seeing, a trained capacity of attention that transforms not just how you feel about your life, but what your life actually is to you? 3 of the greatest civilizations in human history understood gratitude not as an emotion that arrives when circumstances are favorable, but as a fundamental orientation toward existence itself, a way of meeting life in all its fullness, all its difficulty, all its irreducible strangeness, with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. Today we explore what that means through the Stoics of ancient Greece, through the Vedic and Buddhist wisdom of ancient India, and through the Taoist and Confucian masters of ancient China. Stay with me, because what these ancient voices discovered about gratitude will not just make you feel better, it will change what you see when you look at your life. And in changing what you see, it will change what your life is. Marcus Aurelius had every reason not to be grateful. Plague consuming his empire, war on 3 frontiers, a son who would become the worst emperor Rome ever saw, his own health failing, the constant awareness that the greatest empire in the world was beginning its long decline, and yet every morning, before the demands of empire began, he sat and practiced gratitude. Not the gratitude of someone whose life was going well, the gratitude of someone who had trained himself to see clearly what was actually present. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. A precious privilege. Not a given, not an entitlement, not something owed to him by virtue of his position. A privilege." The Stoic practice of gratitude was rooted in the same negative visualization we discussed in the video on enough. The deliberate imagining of what you do not have until what you do have becomes luminous by contrast. But it went further than that. Marcus Aurelius practiced what we might call the gratitude of origins, pausing to acknowledge where everything in his life had come from. He wrote in the opening pages of his Meditations, "From my grandfather Varus, I learned to be gentle and meek. From my father, I learned modesty. From my mother, I learned to be religious and bountiful." Page after page, tracing the specific gifts that specific people had given him, not in grand gestures, but in the ordinary daily quality of their lives. This is Stoic gratitude at its most precise and most human. Not gratitude in the abstract, gratitude for this person, this quality, this gift, named specifically, held consciously, acknowledged honestly. Seneca wrote, "No man can live happily who has regard for himself alone and transforms everything into a question of his own utility." You must live for your neighbor if you would live for yourself. Gratitude is the recognition of what others have given. And in that recognition, the dissolving of the illusion that we are self-made, self-sufficient, owing nothing to anyone. We are what we have received. And knowing this, truly knowing it, is the beginning of gratitude as a way of life. The Sanskrit word is Kritajna. Krita, what has been done. Jna, one who knows. The grateful person is literally one who knows what has been done for them. Gratitude in the Vedic tradition was not primarily an emotional response to individual acts of kindness. It was a cosmological orientation, a recognition that existence itself is a gift that cannot be earned, repaid, or fully comprehended. The Upanishads describe the entire manifest universe as the expression of a generosity so vast that the only appropriate response is wonder. Not the wonder of someone surprised by unexpected good fortune, but the wonder of someone who has looked clearly enough at the bare fact of existence to see that any existence at all is more remarkable than none. The Bhagavad Gita approaches gratitude through the teaching on Prasad, literally the grace or gift of the divine. Everything that arrives, not just the pleasant, not just the desired, not just the convenient, is received as prasad, as grace. Not because suffering is good, not because difficulty is to be welcomed, but because the orientation of the grateful mind, the mind that receives rather than demands, transforms the relationship between the self and its experience. The demanding mind says, "This is not what I ordered." The grateful mind says, "This is what has arrived. What does it offer? What does it ask of me? How can I meet it fully?" The Buddhist tradition approached gratitude through the practice of mudita, sympathetic joy. Not merely gratitude for what you yourself have received, but the capacity to feel genuine joy at the good fortune of others. The Buddha taught that the ungrateful mind, the mind that cannot feel mudita, is actually impoverishing itself, because the man who cannot rejoice in another's happiness has cut himself off from half the happiness available in any given moment. The grateful mind, the mind of mudita, has access to every joy that exists in its vicinity, whether or not that joy belongs to it personally. This is perhaps the most radical form of gratitude any tradition has ever described. Not just being thankful for what you have, but being genuinely glad for what others have. And in that gladness, discovering a richness that possession alone could never provide. Confucius understood gratitude as the foundation of the virtuous social order, a society in which people genuinely acknowledge what they have received from others, from parents, from teachers, from rulers, from friends, is a society capable of virtue. A society of ungrateful people, people who take what they receive as their entitlement and give nothing back, cannot sustain virtue for long. He said, "Fine words and an insinuating appearance are seldom associated with true virtue." Gratitude expressed only in fine words is not gratitude. True gratitude is expressed in how you live, in the quality of attention you bring to the people who have given to you, in the faithfulness with which you honor what you have received by using it well. The Confucian concept of li, ritual propriety, included the specific practices by which gratitude was expressed in daily life, not as performance, but as the outward expression of a genuine inward recognition. I am who I am because of what I have received, and what I have received deserves to be honored in how I live. Lao Tzu approached gratitude from the direction of nature itself. He observed that the natural world operates in a state of what we might call structural gratitude. The river receives the rain and gives it to the sea. The tree receives the light and gives it to the fruit. The fruit receives the earth and gives it back as seed. Everything in nature operates in cycles of receiving and giving, not as transaction, but as the natural expression of a universe in which nothing is truly separate from anything else. He wrote, "The sage does not compete, and therefore no one can compete with him. The sage who does not compete is the sage who has recognized that everything he has been given, and therefore holds it with an open hand, ready to give in turn. Zhuangzi expressed gratitude as a quality of wonder, the capacity to meet each moment of existence with the freshness of someone for whom it is genuinely new, genuinely surprising, genuinely remarkable that it exists at all. He wrote, "The fish trap is there because of the fish. Once you have the fish, you can forget the trap." Apply to gratitude. We often focus so completely on what we are trying to obtain that we forget to notice the extraordinary nature of what we already have. The capacity to seek is itself a gift. The life in which the seeking takes place is itself more remarkable than anything it might find. 3 civilizations, 3 encounters with the same transforming recognition, and 3 versions of the same liberating practice. Marcus Aurelius sat before dawn and named what he had received, person by person, quality by quality, until the extraordinary nature of his ordinary inheritance became visible to him. The Vedic tradition taught Kritajna, knowing what has been done, the cosmological gratitude of someone who has looked clearly at existence and found it more remarkable than nothing would have been. Lao Tzu watched the river receive the rain and give it to the sea, and understood that gratitude is not a human invention, but the natural movement of a universe in which giving and receiving are the same motion. They never met each other. They never read each other's words. And yet, one truth: gratitude is not a feeling that arrives when life goes well. It is a practice, a trained capacity of attention that sees clearly enough to find what is worth receiving in everything that arrives. The Stoic calls it the gratitude of origins, knowing precisely what you have received and from whom. The Vedic tradition calls it Kritajna, one who knows what has been done, and Prasad, everything received as grace. The Taoist calls it the open hand, the natural posture of a being who knows that everything it has been given, and holds it lightly enough to give in return. One truth, 3 voices. Gratitude is not the reward of a fortunate life. It is the practice that makes any life, however difficult, genuinely worth living. Not because it changes what you have, but because it changes what you see. And what you see is everything. Subscribe to One Truth, Many Voices, where every week we sit with the greatest minds of Greece, India, and China and listen for the wisdom beneath all their words. One Truth, Many Voices, Many Paths. See you next week.